Hey everyone, this is Wild and Woolly Gaming coming to you today to give you a proper review of this completely nonsensical, fun meme tank, the BT-7 with the F-32 cannon. This thing is awesome. So, just gotta go over it real quick. I mean, there's, I guess probably the best way to put this is it's almost kind of like a Leopard tank, but a BR-7. And when I say unbalanced, I don't mean it's unbalanced in that it's like a mega tank and it's unkillable and it'll kill everyone, but it's unbalanced in that it's got no armor, a ton of speed, and a big gun that has decent penetration, and will more or less kill everyone that actually you pen through. So, to start, the turret rotation speed is pretty solid. Vertical guidance is pretty good. The depression, this is, believe it or not, a big sticking point with me. You don't really notice it until it really affects you, but if you're coming out over a hill, and especially when there's enemies in the distance that are a little bit lower than you, especially closer that are lower than you, that 6 degrees of pen is terrible. Awful, terrible. I can't say it enough. It's really, 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 really bad. The reload rate is kind of rough. You might look at it and say 7.2, and of course it can get better if you upgrade your crew. My crew is actually experted on this, so it's not as bad as it could be. It could be in the 6 range, but it's still kind of rough when you're comparing it to tanks that are of the same BR or lower BR even that can pen through this, because this is a 1.3 tank, right? Everything's the same except for the gun on this. It's a 1.3 tank at 3 BR because it's got a 3.7 gun. So it's pretty weird. It's got a relatively high reload speed for the amount of slow reload speed for the amount of armor it has. So you almost kind of have to be standoffish and hope that you get a one-shot kill with it, because if you're going to be in an enemy engagement, especially a close range one with, let's say, a Panzer III or something similar, or even a Panzer II-C, that thing could tear you apart, especially if it's got angle on you. So you have to make sure that you get those one-shot kills, aim for the weak spots, and it might behoove you to even use the slightly higher armor pen, ammo here, just because even though it's a little bit less TNT in it, TNT equivalent essentially, you will more likely get the kill, or at least get the armor pen, and at least disable their gunners. So again, this thing is really, it's got 1.3 BR, really just BR1 armor. It's not good, but the acceleration is just completely insane. I'll show you this real quick in the test drive, but it gets up to 30 and probably 30 kilometers per hour in maybe a second and a half. I mean, like I said, look at that, instant, and then it goes from 30 to 59. 59 is essentially its real top speed, but it goes from 30 to 59 fairly easily. And right there, that's what I mean. If you can't get the kill immediately, you might be asking for trouble. So it's just got just enough reload time, just long enough where you might put yourself in danger. That was an embarrassing shot. You might put yourself in danger if you don't kill them immediately. But thankfully, you'll be facing a lot of lower tier tanks, such as the Panzer IV here, and Panzer III, Panzer II, things like that. So you're going to be facing at least a favorable group of tanks, but it's not going to just win you the match. Just because you got this 3.7 BR gun does not mean that you're going to win. One other thing to point out, I really don't think HEs are worth pointing out so much unless you're facing like an open top tank, which those are kind of getting fewer and farther between at this BR. But you also have the shrapnel shell. So if you can shoot someone from a relatively close range from the side, you actually might be able to pen and kill their entire crew. I mean, that is a nasty round, and if it works well. So, I'm going to see if I can show you exactly what I mean, how this thing is kind of, you could almost treat it like a Leopard tank if you have ever used one before. I'm talking the first Leopard tank in the game, I believe, was at the, let's see here, the one that I don't even have yet. It's the Leopard 1, just the Leopard 1, not the A1, but it's just the regular Leopard 1. I've been testing it out at reference, so I've got a good idea of how it works. But essentially, it's like that. You have to play it like that. It's got a big gun relative to its BR. It's got fast speed, but if you take a hit, you're done. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, let's see what this can do. So what I was saying before, how this thing is almost like a Leopard tank, you can treat it kind of like a flanking main battle tank, right? So it's got a ton of speed, a ton of acceleration. I mean, this thing, one of its best assets is its acceleration. Just being able to, if you start getting hit, you can just accelerate out of danger very easily. The reverse speed really is not that great. I believe it's around 10 to 12 kilometers per hour, so it's somewhat lacking in that regard. However, it hits it instantly, more or less. So in that capacity, it's actually quite usable. Whoa, lag. And also hitting bricks. But yeah, I mean, the Leopard, one of its best assets, in my opinion, is its ability to flank and just kind of outshoot people with this big gun that reloads fairly quickly. So that's what I'm going to try to do here. Kind of hide between the buildings. This crater's not my friend, but probably turning in a little bit too soon for this. Whoa, this is some bad lag. I mean, I get that I'm going through, like, walls and stuff, but it shouldn't be pushing me back like that. Okay, let's see. I think I hear a tank near me, which would be quite bad, if true. And one other important thing, because the turn rate for the turret really is not that great, it's fairly important. Okay, I might actually have a tank destroyer at this end. It's fairly important to kind of aim your turret where you think you're going to need it before you have to use it. So, okay. Okay, good. Got me a nice hit on this guy. Jabroni's going to die right now. No, he's not. Okay. Time to use my shrapnel shell. Should be able to knock him out. Hit in the crew chamber. Up here. Perfect. Like I said, that's actually a fairly nasty anti-crew shell. Should not be overlooked. It's a niche shell. It's not something that you're going to use all the time. But when you have the capability to use it, I would suggest you do so. I'm going to probably get killed here, guys. Sweet. That's dangerous. Oh, wow, this guy has no idea. Did I kill him? Okay, I did. I got a Z-27 here. Oh, sweet! I got the gunner. But I got another guy coming up on me. So I'm going to take this guy out first. Turn in. Should really be using that artillery to cover me, but I'll let it slip for now. Okay. Either way, that's what I mean, guys. So you can take out enough tanks really at a similar time, and just, if you can get nice one-hit kills or even disable the crew members enough, you'll almost always get a two-hit kill at worst. And you can just come in from the side just like that and just act as a spear, just turn it into the enemy team. So I'll try to give you one more example of how this thing works. But really, in my experience, it's best utilized as a flanker that that can just pound through armor, especially from the side. As I said before, it's kind of not the best to use it at close range just because it's reload at this BR, but it's still usable at that, especially if you can take enemies by surprise. Okay, as I said before, guys, this is essentially going to be, you're going to be bringing high battle rating gameplay to a lower battle rating, because this has a lot of speed, a lot of gun, and little armor relative to what's going to be facing. So it's really important that you kind of get into a position to fire first and then make the first killing shot. If not, just disable the enemy so that they can't fire again. Now, what I'm doing is particularly dangerous, especially considering that they've got actually quite sufficient tanks here. This is bad. Cromwell will tear me up. So that's one of the tanks I actually have quite a bit of issues with. Quite a few issues with. Being that it's just actually so well armored that I have a tough time getting through it. Unfortunately. So, I wonder if that BT-7 is... Okay. So, I'm going to try to flank over to the right side here. My team's getting ripped up. This is bad. This is bad. Whoa, I do not want to turn like that. Crusader, Crusader, Crusader. Stop! Woo! Okay. One thing about this tank that really should be noted is that it's not all that agile. It's not a responsive tank when it comes to control input. Oddly enough, and I'm being shot at. Okay. Probably from this M24 over here. Probably not good. Oh, nice! I took out the cannon breach. Good. So it's not a very good thing, but yeah, it's got a high. Oh, geez. It's got a pretty high reload time, so you're not going to be able to brawl with this, unfortunately. I'm going to switch over to the higher pen shells just because I'm facing British tanks here. So I'm kind of stuck in a brawling situation, being that there's no cover outside of the town here. And I have to fight close quarters combat, which is not advantageous to this tank at all, really. So this is kind of frustrating. Kind of really frustrating, as a matter of fact. We'll see what happens. Nice! Look at that! But it's got plenty of shell to just wipe out almost anyone at this tier. I'm actually doing okay, all things considered. Good, 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 good. So this is an alternate way. So you're not necessarily limited by the fact that, hey, I don't have... Ah! Oh, wow, I might have taken out his gun? So you're not limited necessarily by the fact that you don't have... okay, whatever, I'll take the assist. A lot of armor. You know, you have to, in this case, use everything else to your advantage. So what do you have that's special about this gun? You've got a 5.7 BR gun, essentially, on a 1.3 tank. Did I say 5.7? I meant to say 3.7. I hope I didn't say 5.7. So really you have to use that to your advantage. You're bringing that big tier gun to this low tier match, relatively speaking. Okay, that was dumb of me. Okay, I have to sit back now. Lucky enough, where this is a premium tank, so I actually have the ability. I actually got to get away from this armor artillery barrage. Unlike in heavier tanks, I mean heavier tanks too, because they don't really have a ton of roof armor. Artillery barrages can just wipe out this tank. I'm not sure if artillery barrages are kind of BR dependent, so let's say a 5 BR artillery barrage is going to do more than like a 1 or a 2. But either way, if that's the case, especially I don't want to be around it because this is a 1.3 BR tank with a big BR gun. So, bad shot, bad shot. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Got a Cromwell here, probably eyeing me up. I'd be eyeing me up. I'm really surprised I haven't been killed yet. More so, I'm just lucky. This is not a tank that can handle punishment. at all. Oh wow, I actually hit him. Not expecting that. So like I said before, I'm willing to trade off, especially in a match like this. Armor pen, or see, I'm up tiered. I'm willing to trade off explosive capabilities for armor pen. Uh-oh. Oh, sweet. That's good. This M4 might be coming for me. Not sure, though. The M4 is a big problem. Because automatically my ability to shoot through it is hindered. Especially by the fact that this thing has terrible gun depression. Wow. Got him! Nice! Look at that. Oh geez, oh geez, oh geez. Got an F-2 here. Oh, he doesn't even see me. Okay. Uh-oh. I'm getting back. I just kind of laid down some suppressive fire knowing that wouldn't hit. But hoping that it would. But it didn't. See, this is what I mean. I did not mean to move that far over to the right. It just kind of happened that way because such is life. I'm going to start to need more ammo real soon. Okay. That M4 knows where I am. He's just keeping eyes on me. Nice! You know, I bet you if I had the shrapnel shell, or if nothing else, the higher... What is that guy doing? I'm not going to get into my bomber, because that would be a mistake. I have to hold the ground. Here, is this guy coming between the buildings? Sure hope so. It doesn't really matter, does it? Oh, that does matter. That was a bad miss. But I can still take this fella out. Good. Probably not the best placement for it. Shoot, that was a wasted round. I'm running low on those rounds too. Okay, see, this is what I mean though. If you can stay out of trouble, because this is not going to take a hit. If you can more or less stay out of trouble with this thing, and just kind of provide a flanking role, this is a good example of that type of match. Got him! Look at that! I'm going to just lay it down on this M4, because he is the thorn in my side right now. Force him to maybe come towards me. There's not really a ton I can do, unfortunately, at this moment. I'm kind of tempted. Maybe I should get into this. You know what? I'm going to do it. This might be the end of me, though. I'm safe here. And if he doesn't notice that I'm the one in the thing... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no. It always happens like that. Shoot. Okay, maybe this F4-1 can, F4U can knock me out. Nope. Got the T-28 that killed me because I was unattentive. So, best thing I can do right now is just avenge myself. But I hardly even did that. Either way, guys. So, that's what I mean. This is a great tank. I got 5 kills and 2 assists, being heavily outgunned, heavily out-armored, and really out-BR'd, out-teamed, all that. So, let's just go back for a final review and then kind of, I guess, give this thing a star rating. Okay guys, just for like a final quick review, I'm just going to kind of go over this, how it's implemented, kind of what I just did, but in summation. So, essentially this is, again, a 1.3 tank with a 3.7 gun, and it is pretty good. I mean, it's a very niche tank. This is not going to be a usable tank in all situations. I mean, you'd be better off equipping yourself, being that this is a Russian tank, with a T-34 or a variant thereof, or even a KV tank if you're looking to slightly up tier. But this does fill some roles really well. You can cap before most people. You can flank better than most other tanks. Um, and really, you can really anything that focuses on speed first and power as well. This is almost in a way kind of like a Hellcat, as I'd mentioned in my previous video, at least on the thumbnail. So there's a lot of things this thing does well, but it cannot stand to fire. I mean, it's pretty difficult to actually knock out all the crew all at once, believe it or not, unless you, at least in my experience, because no one's really went for the cabin here. They've all gone for the turret with specific shells, or they've gone for the back, and thus the crew survives. So it's a pretty good tank in that regard. So in terms of overall usefulness, I got to give it a 3 out of 5. I mean, all of these Operation Heat vehicles are really good at one thing, right? They're specialized vehicles, from the BF-110C6 to the BT-7, as well as the other vehicles that are coming out. I wouldn't really know so much about the naval, but it does look like those are specialized as well. And this is really a great example of it. Big gun, fast, low armor. It's kind of like a mini Hellcat, or if you want to stretch it, even Leopard. Just for BR3 and a few decades early. It is really an excellent tank in that regard, if you use it correctly. But in terms of overall usefulness, I mean, it's tough to give it more than a 3. And the only reason why I give it a 3 is because it's got the big gun that really knocks out crews at a relatively low battle rating. So kind of going over to other facets of this, when it comes to armor, this has a 1 out of 5. It's really bad armor. You can, if you get paired up with similar BR tanks or even lower BR tanks, you can survive some shots. Even some frontal shots. You can have some deflections and things like that, but it's not going to be common, and it's not going to happen at higher tier tanks. They might go through an unoccupied part of your tank, and that'll be good for you, but otherwise they will still go through it. So I got to give the armor a 1 out of 5. Armor pen, it's not that great. It's good. It's superior compared to most, but still not great. I got to give it a 3.5 out of 5. In terms of damage once you pen, it's probably about a 4.5 out of 5. And the reason being is because, again, it's a relatively large gun. It's got a good amount of explosive filler in it. For a low BR, that should be able to shoot through most other tanks. So it's pretty solid, unless you're hitting like a hard point or you're facing a Cromwell or something similar like that. And when it comes to the other really important part here, speed, honestly, for this BR, you're taking BR1, BR2 speed, well really BR 1.3, and you're putting it into 3, where tanks should be heavier, this is not, and it's really, you could bring a BT-7 technically into a BR3 match, it would not be a good idea, but that's largely because of its gun. This gun can take those tanks out that you could not before. And it's definitely now a viable option. So the speed, did I say a 5 before? I meant to say about a 4.5 out of 5. So it's not perfect. There's some agility concerns. Input's not great. You'll start to try to turn, and it won't turn immediately. And once you're done turning, it will have turned more than you want. So there are some input concerns that I'll put in with the speed here. But otherwise, it's incredible with acceleration, just like a regular BT-7. And it's really good with top speed too. You should be able to flank most people before they can even attempt to flank you, unless of course they do have the BT-7. As the BT-7 is essentially, if you're gonna be ranked with other BR3 tanks, the BT-7 is going to be your biggest enemy, because that tank can wipe you out just as well as you could wipe it out. Its weaknesses, and that person knows yours. So anyways, again, thanks guys for watching this. Really, I'm guessing it's going to be a long video. I hope you guys like, subscribe. It really means a lot to me, and hope to see you guys in the future. Watch some more of my videos, and again, it really means a lot to me. Take care, everyone.